Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing another testing Amazon makeup. I have another 5 products to try, so if you'd like to see how I got this makeup look right here, please keep watching. So I went ahead and applied some primer. I used my e.l.f. Aqua Primer Mist, my Milani Prime Light face primer. Then I went ahead and applied some foundation because I don't have any foundation to try out. So I just used my Maybelline Superstay 24-Hour foundation, and this is in the shade 220 Natural Beige. So the first thing I'm going to be testing out from Amazon, this has really good reviews. This is the Skinfood Salmon Dark Circle Concealer Cream. This little pot is super cute. So you get quite a bit. Like, this is definitely more than the Becca one that I use. There's no other information on it. So I'm just gonna apply it with my ring finger. I mean, it feels pretty thick. So the consistency reminds me a lot of the Becca one. Kind of sticky and a little bit thick. But this one is way cheaper and you get more product. Yeah, and I feel like it blends out just like the Becca one. Although I feel like this one is more of like a peachy pink, and then the Becca one is like almost like a straight metallic baby pink. But I feel like this sticky formula will be like a really good kind of like primer for concealer too. And I always make sure when I'm using a salmon corrector that I get the inner corner of my eye as well. I barely used any, and this is gonna last forever. So I'm just gonna lightly go over that with my Eco Tool sponge just to get any additional product. Make sure that's really pressed in underneath there. Looks pretty good, huh? So for concealer, I'm gonna be trying out this little guy right here. This is the Sace Lady Full Cover Concealer, Smooth Texture, Matte Flawless Finish, Long Wearing. I have the shade 01. It says a lightweight fluid concealer provides full coverage with a comfortable radiance. The liquid formula concealers can be easily applied and blended with a sponge or concealer brush. Gives a smoother, flawless looking finish on skin. Helps to cover dark circles and blur the look of lines. I am now that person that is guilty of self-tan hands, like, ah. Anyways, I need to do better. You guys should see my feet. It's so bad, but it's starting to wear off. You can see it's like wearing off in the weirdest like spots, and like the back of my hands are all like blotchy. But I've had it on for like a week, so I guess that's pretty good. I don't know. I'm gonna take it all off tonight, but anywho. So this little thing looks just like the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer, so I'm just gonna put a little bit on the back of my hand. I think that was probably way too much. So as you can tell, it's really thick. Yeah, it's really thick. So it's definitely thicker than the MAC Pro Longwear. Okay, so since I obviously don't need that much, I'm definitely going to use my sponge to blend it out so that way it picks up the majority of the product. I'm not really exactly sure what this reminds me of. It kind of reminds me, it's not as sticky as the Tarte Maracuja Creaseless Concealer, the one that's in the tube. It's not that sticky, but it's thick like that. That's the closest thing that I can think of that this reminds me of. And I'm just gonna use my sponge. I feel like this has a little bit of a yellow undertone to it, but it's blending out really nice. A little bit goes a long way. Obviously, I used more than enough. And I would definitely say that this is full coverage. That blended out so nice. That looks so good on the skin. Now I'm gonna try this. This is from Stargazer, and this is the Compact Pressed Powder. And I think this is just in the shade White. It says the Stargazer pressed powder has been formulated to give the greatest coverage and color results. The powder gives a great color control and is easy to apply with the use of a mirror and powder puff. The finish lasts all day and is not oily or cake-like. Yes, and I have it in the shade White. This is the packaging right here. So yeah, it's just a compact. It's nothing special. It feels like pretty cheap and it's definitely straight white. You do get a mirror, and mine just came out. So, okay. So I'm just going in with this Morphe E45 brush. This is the brush I use to blend out concealer if I don't use a sponge. And I'm just going to tap in there and get out any creases. And I'm taking my Morphe M536. This is my favorite brush to set my concealer with. And I'm just like patting it in here. This is really powdery. Like there's so much like kickback. So I'm just gonna press that into the skin. Okay, so hopefully I'm not the only one that this happens to, but a lot of the times when I use a loose powder, to set my concealer, it will darken my under eye and it will darken the areas that I put the concealer. So even if I like the finish of the loose powder on my concealer areas, it darkens it. So I think this powder would be good to add the brightness back. So if I wanted to set it with a loose powder and then go back in with this powder just to bring back the brightness like you can see, I think this would be really good. And it is like straight white. Like the only other straight white powder that I've used that I can think of at the top of my head is MAC Pro Emphasize powder, but even that has like a reflect in it, kind of like a highlighter, and this doesn't. This is just matte white. So I almost prefer this powder over the MAC one. Yeah, I really like this. And then I'm just gonna set these areas as well. I'm just gonna kind of like let that sit there and then I'll brush it away. So far, so good. I don't have a loose powder to set my face, so I'm gonna go ahead and jump off camera and do that. So I'm just gonna be using my La Prairie loose powder in the shade 02, I believe this is what it is. This is the travel size. Yeah, translucent 2. So I'm gonna use this to set my entire face and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I tried to stipple off the powder that I put right there because I put like a little bit too much and it didn't go anywhere. So I don't think I'm gonna use that powder to set the center of my face, not when I have a little bit of a tan anyways, because it's just too much. Like I like the bright under eye, but I'm not really crazy about the bright chin and the bright middle of my forehead area. I tried to use my La Prairie powder on top of it to try to kind of like blend it out, and that didn't work either. So definitely use a light hand if you don't want a super bright face, because this does not blend out. So anyway, so I went ahead and did my brows as well. I used my e.l.f. Blonde Brow Pomade. I love this stuff. It is so good. I almost prefer that over the Anastasia Brow Pomade. Then I used my ColourPop brow pencil. I'm not really sure what the shade of this is, but I used that darker kind of light brown shade for the tail. And then to set my brows, I used my Model in a Bottle Long Lasting Eyebrow Sealer. It looks like a nail polish. So I just went ahead and applied some bronzer. I used my Lancome Solaire bronzer. And now I have a blush to try out. This is from HUA MIAN Lee. So Hua Mian Lee. I'm not really sure. This is the packaging right here. I have the Classic Velvet Blusher, and it says it's a silky texture, special feeling. And on the back, it's in the shade 02. So this is what the little compact looks like. Oh, and you actually get a mirror and you get 2 shades right here. Ooh, this is a really pretty like peachy pink, and then this is kind of like a hot pink. So I'm just gonna mix the both of them, and I'm gonna use my Morphe E4. I'm just gonna take a dab of both. We'll see. Ooh, yeah, a dab is a lot. So I think this is really pretty, although I feel like it didn't really want to blend out that well on top of my powders. Ooh, ooh. Okay, now I'm going crazy. Oh my gosh. And there does look like there's a little bit of a shimmer in this pink one, the bigger one. So I'm just gonna take my stippling brush and just blend my blush and bronzer together because I love blush, but I'm also like really heavy-handed with it. I feel like it's kind of blotchy on this cheek. I don't know, I could be crazy. So I don't have a new highlighter to try, so I just went ahead and applied my Makeup Revolution Goddess of Love Baked Highlighter. This is what it looks like. It's really pretty. You can see. Now I'm gonna apply some Laura Mercier translucent powder. I almost had a brain fart. I'm gonna bake my contour while we work on the eyes. So the last thing I have to try out for this testing Amazon makeup is from the brand UCANBE, and this is the Dreamland palette. It looks so stunning. So when you open it up, you do get a mirror, and then these are the shades. So these are all like berry tones, but this shade right here looks so pretty. It's called Flora, but this is a nice like kind of mixture of mattes, a little bit of shimmers, and I think this palette was like $10. It was definitely under 15. So I think I'm gonna go in with this shade right here called Blank Canvas, and I'm gonna put that all over my lid, just using a Morphe M441. Okay, it's a little darker than I thought, so I'm just gonna use this as a transition shade actually. It's kind of like a taupey shade. Next, I'm gonna go in with, I think, Scallop. It's this peachy shade right here. So to deepen that up, I'm gonna go in with that pretty shade called Flora. And I'm gonna switch brushes. Use my Sigma E25. So these are really pigmented, but there is a lot of kickback for sure. But look at that. They're blending out like pretty nicely. Ooh, this shade is gorgeous. Just kind of packing and rolling, and then I'll blend. I would buy this palette just for this shade. It's so pretty. Gorgeous. I'm gonna go back in with this Morphe M441 brush, and I'm gonna take that first shade that we used called Scallop, and I'm just gonna put that back in like kind of above the crease. There's so many choices in this palette though, like these like kind of matte mauve-y brown shades will be stunning for a matte brown look. So here are some swatches of these 3 shimmer shades. I think I might use one of these, but I'm not sure. I think I'm gonna go in with this bottom one right here called, why can I never say this word? Urethral? I could never say that word. It's this bottom corner right here. MAC 242 brush. Let's see what this looks like with the brush first. And I'm just putting that all over the lid. Ooh, that is really pretty. I'm gonna use my finger. I'm just gonna take my MAC 242 and dip in there, and I'm just gonna kind of do like a little bit of a cut crease, I guess, just with the brush. I think I am gonna add some more of that Flora shade back into my crease, that like neon shade. I just really like how that looks. I think I'm just gonna leave it like that. Just gonna go back in with the MAC 242 and just kind of push some of that shimmer into the crease, just because I think it looks a little weird if the shimmer is only on the lid and it's not in the crease. I don't know. Let's do this shade right here called Passion. It's kind of like a dark fuchsia shade, and I'm just gonna pack a little bit of that in the outer corner and see what that looks like. Maybe in the outer corner and a little bit in the crease. Just made a mess too. Ugh. So I'm gonna blend it out with this brush, this Morphe brush. Oh my gosh, I totally messed up right there. I'm gonna take my Laura Mercier powder, and I hope this works. So hopefully that will help. I don't know, I guess we'll see. Let's start on the lower lash line. Just gonna go in with blank canvas again and put that down there. That's the shade that we kind of used for our transition shade, and this is a Morphe E18. Now I'm going in with Scallop, which was like our crease transition shade, and I'm just gonna put that on top. And then in with Flora. These shades blend out so easy. And then in with Passion, which is that purple shade that messed up my whole eye look. And I'm just gonna put that on the outer part. I wish there was kind of like a lighter pearly shade for like a inner corner and eyebrow highlight, but there isn't. So I'm gonna set the palette aside, and I'm just gonna take my Goddess of Love highlighter that I used on my face and use that for my inner corner and brow highlight. I don't think that translucent powder is going to help. Dang it. So I'm gonna take this Morphe M492, which is kind of like a flatter stippling brush. I'm just gonna wipe off that Laura Mercier powder. I mean, it kind of helped. Okay, so I guess we're just doing a blown out smoky eye because I can't fix that. So I'm just going to dust off this bake. So I'm just going to jump off real quick, apply some false lashes and mascara, and then do my lips, and then I'll be right back to let you guys know my final thoughts on these 5 Amazon makeup products. Okay guys, so I am done. I believe the lashes that I'm using are Kiss number 11 lashes. I keep all my lashes that I have worn in this Morphe lash book, and there's no names on them, so I just kind of guess on what pair I'm wearing. But I'm pretty sure these are Kiss number 11s. And then in my waterline, I thought it would be pretty, so I popped in this ColourPop gel liner in the shade Puppy. It's just an orange shade, and I think that tied in the look really nice. For lips, I used my Milani 04 All Natural Lip Liner, and then I used this Bare Minerals Cookie Matte Liquid Lips. It kind of is like a Kylie Jenner Velvet, like it doesn't dry down completely matte, like it still transfers. And this shows all the lines on my lips, so I have to wear these with a gloss. Like I can't wear them by themselves or they just look cakey and like they get into all the fine lines on my lips and they just don't look very good. So then I went on top of it with my NARS Turkish Delight lip gloss, and then I just set my face with MAC Fix Plus and my Catrice Illuminating Prime and Fine spray. everything. I really like this look. I love it, and it goes perfect with my shirt. Anyway, so let's go ahead and talk about everything. So the first thing we tried out was this Skinfood Salmon Dark Circle Concealer Cream. I really like this. I think this is a pretty good dupe for the Becca Under Eye Brightening Corrector. Obviously, like, the formula is a little bit better on the Becca one. Like, this is more sticky, but you get way more for your money, and it's pretty much the same thing. Like, after I run out of the Becca one, I probably won't purchase anymore. I'll probably just use this guy. So then we used the Sace Lady Full Cover Concealer. This right here, a lot goes a long way. Let me tell you, this is definitely full coverage. I really like it, but next time I'm obviously going to use a lot less because I went way overboard. Then I tried out the Stargazer White Powder. Minus the fact that mine is broken. I do like this powder. It is kind of like a thick powder, and it says that it isn't. It says it's not oily or cake-like, but I feel like I used a little bit too much, and it did get a little cakey on my under eye. So I definitely want to use less of that next time, but I do like it. I think it like really brightened my under eye, and I really like that. So my least favorite thing from this video is the Classic Velvet Blusher. I think the shades are really pretty, but I don't know. I just feel like it didn't really blend out that well, like, on my skin. Again, I might be crazy, so when I go back to edit this video, I might be like, oh, Brittany, it looks just fine. But like, I feel like when I look at it in my mirror, it looks okay on this side, but I feel like it looks kind of blotchy on this side, so maybe I just need to set my face a little bit more, make it more matte, and then this blush would work, but it is a pretty color. And then I love this. So if you buy anything from this Testing Amazon Makeup, you have to pick up this palette. Oh my gosh, the UCANBE Dreamland palette. I used about 5 shades in it. 5 shades, but this Flora shade right there is my favorite. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy with how this eye look turned out. And like I said, I'm pretty sure this was $10 or under. I'll have everything linked in the description box below. It's definitely under 15, but I highly, highly, highly recommend this palette. Okay guys, so that completes this video. Let me know if you guys have tried any of these products in the comments below and what you think. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and please don't forget to give me a thumbs up as I knock everything over if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys later. Bye.